Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought I would do a story time of all the tattoos that I have so far. But yeah, so if you guys want to see that, then keep watching. So I'm going to start with the very first one that I got to the latest ones that I have. So the first one that I got, I was 16. And I went with my brother's fiance at the time, and I had wanted one of my animals' names, just something small, but in a nice place where it would sometimes be seen but not always. So we went to this place together and she got one and I got one. So this is what I got. Don't mind my feet, but it says Nickel. So a lot of people think that it says Nicole, but it actually is pronounced Nickel. I don't know why that the spelling is the way it is. That's just the way I got her, and I liked it because it was different and people didn't like know exactly what it was, so I just stuck with it and I got it tattooed on me. And then the second one that I got, what was my second one? Oh, okay. So the second one that I got, I went with my brother's fiance again, and I wanted something for my mom. So I searched and searched, and there's a couple quotes that I liked, but they weren't like sticking and whatnot. But then there was one that I found and I was like, that is it, because it describes my mom and I perfectly. So I will show you. This is what I got. So it says, "First my mother, forever my friend."
Did you do that? Read it. First my mother, forever my friend. Oh, why did you do that though?
I wanted to.
Where did you pick that up from? Oh, that's so cute. So that's not what you have done?
No.
You didn't get your foot done. Why?
Because I wanted to get this done instead.
Oh my god. Wow, he did a beautiful job. I love the writing. That's the kind I want. Will he remember that?
Yeah.
Or whatever? That's beautiful. It's swollen.
Yeah.
More so, let me see. Oh yeah, yours is not even at all.
So I have stretch marks over top of it. There's nothing I could really do about it. The lines became very, very thick with weight gain and then weight loss and then weight gain again because of having babies. I've had two, so that will do that to a tattoo. So I'm thinking, I've heard, I don't know if it's necessarily true, but I've heard that when you lose weight slowly, not drastically, but when you lose weight slowly, you will lose the thickness of the lines. The lines will go back to being normal. If they don't, I am going to get it covered up, but I am going to get it replaced somewhere else. And then the third one that I have, my cousin and I, we are tight. We're like sisters practically. It was always the two of us when we were little. So she came up for 5 summers in a row, I think. And the last time she came up, she was 16 or 17, and we wanted matching tattoos really, really bad. So we went, I called, it's kind of a funny story. So it was the third time that I had been to this tattoo shop because it was the same place I went for my other two. And I called and I was like, I was just wondering when I would maybe be able to get in for a tattoo. He's like, oh, like not till like next Thursday or something. And I'm like, oh crap. And he's like, why? And I'm like, well, my cousin's up from Ottawa and she's leaving this weekend. So he was like, okay, well, what are you guys getting? And so we explained it to him what we wanted, and he's like, oh, he's like, they'll take like 3 or 4 minutes each. So we're like, yeah, like they're not big or anything. So he's like, oh, like, okay, not a problem. So he was like, if you can get, and this is what he said, he's like, if you can get your butts in here, he obviously used a more verbal word, but he's like, if you guys can get your butts in here right now, he was like, we can do them. And it was in another town that was maybe like 15-20 minutes away from where I was, like where my mom's house was. So he was like, yeah, if you can get your butts in here right now, then we can do them. So we flew into the car and we flew down there and we got them done. And again, with gaining weight and whatnot, it got a little jumbled. You can tell what it is more than the other one, but this is what we got. So it was a key, and the top of the key is a heart and a music note. I have no idea why we got keys with hearts and a music note. I think it had meaning to us at the time. I think it was because we were like the keys to each other's hearts. And so like there was a key and a heart, and then the music note was because, I know why the music note was, is because we always used to sing together, and we were young, don't judge, but we would like record ourselves singing and stuff like that, and then watch them, and we'd be like, oh crap, like we're absolutely horrible, like delete it, but then we'd do it again, and it was just our thing. So yeah, so that is my third one. My fourth tattoo, I had wanted it for a really, really long time. I just had taken a break from tattoos. I feel like I was going a little crazy at the beginning, and I was still pretty young. But at the time, I know kids now that are 17, 18, they can be covered in tattoos. But when I was 17, 16, 17, that is not the way it was back then. Well, back then, I'm so old, but that's not the way it was when I was in high school. It was, you had to wait till you were out of high school, so I slowed down a little bit. About 4 months ago, I wanted to surprise my mom because she had never had a tattoo before, and I know she really wanted one. So I surprised her with a tattoo, and I got myself one. So she got Ohana put on her foot because she's always, family is everything to her. And Ohana, that's what it means, is family. And she's gonna get the Hawaiian flower tattooed in behind it. But yeah, so then I had wanted this for a really long time because, call me crazy, but they actually do mean a lot to me. So I got Promise. It looks really bad, but I got Promise put, come on. Yeah, so I got the Promise put on my pinky for Pinky Promise, obviously. Pinky promises have always been my thing. If I am, you know, saying like, do you promise, I will make someone pinky promise me. I've always done it, and so they're really important to me. So I went to a new tattoo shop because I was sick and tired of the other one. My tattoos were, if you know a lot about tattoos, if they're not done properly, they scar. And what it means by scarring is if you run your finger over top of your tattoo and it's really, really bumpy, that means it's scarred. And a lot of the times that means that they pushed way too hard with the tattoo gun. The key on my leg was not supposed to hurt. It's a very, like at the time my legs were as thin as this water bottle, but they're still, your legs are still a chunky part. There's no bone or anything right underneath of the skin. So it wasn't supposed to hurt, but it really hurt. And I was told by my new tattoo artist that it's because he pressed too hard or something like that. think that's what he said. But yeah, so I went to, and getting back on my topic, I went to a new tattoo shop with my mom, and that's where I got my finger done. And it's not anything that they did wrong. They completely warned me that tattoos on your fingers are a bad spot to get, because your fingers are always rubbing together and they're always in water. Your hands are just a place where things just don't stay well on. So they warned me about it. They told me that some people's heal perfectly, some people's don't, and you have to get them retouched up. And because it's such a bad place to get them, shop minimum, I'm pretty sure, was $110 for fingers and hands. Just, yeah, like hands in general. So I said I wanted it anyways. I took a risk, and they, at this place that I go to, they have like a 3-month, you have 3 months to get your tattoo touched up, but because fingers are bad and they know this, or hands in general, like I said, because they're so bad, they don't want to give you the 3-month touch up, which I totally understand because they're warning you anyways. You can still see what it says, but the I, not the dot, but the I is like completely gone. Half the S is completely gone. I am going to get it retouched up because it is a tattoo that is like near and dear to me. So I would like to get it touched up, but I don't want to re-spend $110 on a tattoo that I already have right now. So I will wait to get that one fixed. The 5th tattoo, holy, I have a lot of tattoos all of a sudden. The 5th tattoo that I got was for my birthday from Brady. He wanted to, well, we had talked about it, and we wanted to get, Brady and I wanted to get family tattoos together. So he decided that he would surprise me with our family tattoos, and he got his and I got mine. So he got 2 lilies because they are my favorite flowers. He got 2 lilies representing like him and me, and then he got 4 hummingbirds around the lilies because he just really likes hummingbirds and I like hummingbirds. And yeah, so he got 2 babies and 2 adults, and the adults are different sizes and so are the babies, so you can tell like who is who, but they're on his upper arm, so the flowers are like right here, and then he's got the hummingbirds all the way around his shoulder. I got my elephants on my forearm. It's about, yeah, it's pretty big. It's about my whole forearm. So yeah, so this was all of us. But yeah, so that was, I had, ever since I got pregnant with Ellie, I started thinking of something that I wanted, and I didn't want your regular like name that people get tattooed with the birth date and all that stuff, and I didn't want like a little handprint or footprint. I wanted something different that just represented all of us as a family. Excuse me. I just wanted to have something different, and elephants are one of the strongest bonds that you can find, especially between a mother and a baby. Elephants are just, they are so strong as a herd and caring about each other. So I just thought, what better animal to represent family than an elephant? My 6th and last one. This one is super, super meaningful to me. The elephants and my newest one are the 2 most meaningful. The latest one I got is this one. So it is the longitude and latitude of my house that you guys just saw. I posted the video. I'll link it down below. But my mom had to sell my childhood home just because it was way too big for her, and the house was, it was getting old, and it was just gonna start costing her a lot of money to keep up with it. So she sold the house, and I had been there since I was 3. So this October it would have been 20 years that we had built the house and lived in it. I lived in it for 17 of those years, and then Brady and I moved out when we had Ellie and bought our house and stuff like that. So yeah, so I was in the house for 17 years, but we owned it as a family for 20. We still get to go there because my mom and dad had severed the property when we first got the place. So my mom still owns 52 acres and the house is just sitting on 10 acres. So we still have our dirt bike track, our waterfall, all of that stuff. We still get to use the property, but we just don't get to use the house. But yeah, so yes, so this is my newest one and I am obsessed with it.